Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the session today evening. I hand over to Ms. Apurva to continue, take this session forward.
Thank you, Dr. Gauri. Good evening, everyone. My name is Apurva. On behalf of the Brainchild Trust, I invite everyone and welcome to today's evening academic session. Brainchild Trust is a trust that is working towards educating parents and the community about children with neurological conditions. And as part of one of its goals, we train the therapists in understanding the various aspects of child development. Today we have Muhammed Raffeque, an advocate who's going to help us to understand the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. I would like to invite you, sir. Thank you very much to you to take out time. Today is your festival. Wishing you also a very, very happy Eid and Eid Mubarak to you.
Thank you, Apurva. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll just take 2 minutes to introduce to you, and then I'll hand over the stage to you. So Raffeque sir completed his law degree from Calicut University, Kerala in 1990. He is the founder and chief counsel of We Legal. It is a consultancy firm that provides legal solutions to disputes through mediation. They also conduct awareness on various legal topics. One of the beliefs that Raffeque sir has is to have alternate dispute resolutions rather than litigation. Sir has been part of a legal team at the Airports Authority of India, as well as the Delhi International Airport and the SL Group. Raffeque sir has also been credited as a mediator from the Indian Institute of Arbitration and Mediation. Sir, thank you again so much for your time. Please enlighten us about this act. As therapists, it's important for us to know the nuances of the act. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Apurva. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Brainchild Trust and the organizers of this for inviting me to address you. You all are experts in some of the fields. So nothing to add in my introduction. Let's get in straight to my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we have precisely 1.5 hours, maybe a minute or two less. Basically, what we are going to talk about a law called the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. We call it POCSO, P-O-C-S-O, POCSO, right? So every law has certain features, very unique features. We call it salient features of a law. Any law you take. So what we are going to use this time with us is to just examine that features of POCSO law, because it's a very vast thing. Normally we do a POCSO training for 12 hours. So 1 hour we cannot start and enter the session, the act from one point to another point. So what is more important here is your clearing of your doubts. Whatever I show my presentation, you can Google it and get it. But you use this opportunity to ask your doubts and clear doubts as much as you can. All right. So as I said, there are some salient features of POCSO law as such. Before that, you know how does the law work in our country? Which is the supreme, most important law in India? It is Constitution of India. We have a well-written constitution. We call it Constitution of India. So mother of all laws is the Constitution of India. The entire law what we discuss or what we see, we have around 5,000 laws. both central and state. So this all emerged from the spirit of the Constitution. So no law will go against the theme of our Constitution. That's the basic thing. So if a law is passed by central government through parliament or by state governments through assemblies, it is binding on you and me and the public. So what they do is they publish in the website nowadays. Before the internet era, it used to be published in official public gazette. You must have heard public gazette. So what's the presumption? Once it is published in official gazette, all public has seen that law. That is the presumption. But as you know, the law itself difficult to comprehend by a layman. The language of it, the theories of it, the principles of it. So we legal, we have an endeavor to make understand what is the law. So why should you understand the law? Especially then you know where to stop. Suppose you do something, especially we are specialized in sexual harassment against women, children, transgender, etc. So we, being public, should know when would my action become an offense, a crime. You understand? So that is why awareness is very important. I cannot expect you will go to Ministry of Women and Child Development and download a law and read and come and know. Even if you try to read, unfortunately, you will not understand the language, because there is a theory that legal language laymen should not understand. However, so there where we are trying to simplify it. So we legal is for simplifying the law. So having said that, let's look at what are the features of a POCSO law, right? First one, it's a special law. So as the name implies, there could be a general law, then only a special law comes. So what is the difference between general law and special law? Anyone from you? What's a general law? What's a special law? Any idea? You can shoot anything. This is a learning room. Let the mistake happens. Nobody will think anything. You can guess and say. Yeah.
Yes, sir. If I am audible.
Yeah, you are. You are very much.
Myself, Dr. Manoj. I am the head of the Department of Clinical Psychology, JSS Medical College, Mysore.
Yeah,
sir, what I understood, because I don't have the law background, but what I understood, special law is made for the specific section of the population, and where the general law, if we talk about, they are applicable to the large or whole sections of the population. That's why what I understand.
Excellent.
And this, yes, and this POCSO is especially made for the children population and with a specific object of sexual offense, and that's why we can say it is special.
Absolutely.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. You're welcome. So special law, as Dr. Manoj said, it is created, it is enacted, if we put it legally, for the benefit of particular class of community, that is here children. So who is a child? How do we differentiate a child and adult? What's the criteria?
Sir,
yeah? Please. Yes, Sugandha. You're telling something?
Individual below the age of 18 years.
Okay, great. So any person who is below age of 18 or not attained the age of 18, we consider them as child, irrespective of gender. Could be male, could be female, could be a third gender. all three genders, right? So this law is a special law to take care of the children from the sexual offenses. We will discuss this later, sexual offenses. And this is special law, sometimes called welfare law. So what is the significance? Why we call it, why we label it special law? Because when it comes before the court should always look at a special law with the objective of that law. Suppose there is a contradiction between a general law and special law, anything, a provision under Indian Penal Code, IPC, it's a general law, and as POXO Act, always POXO Act will prevail. That is the benefit of special law or a welfare law. Am I clear? Okay. So second point, second feature of the law, POXO is a criminal law. Then naturally a question comes, there are many kinds of law. Here there is a civil law and criminal law. Could anyone give me one example, one difference between civil law and criminal law? Yep. Anyone? What's a civil law?
So,
Yeah.
so this is Sunaini. I'm a counseling psychology student.
Yeah, Sunil.
So I think the difference, the major difference would be for civil law, it's usually against public or public property.
Okay.
Anything that is not directed towards a certain individual with a certain intent.
Okay.
But with criminal law, there has to be an intent of harm or damage to any person or any property, especially when it's affecting the individual at in different areas.
Okay. Okay. Fair point. The slightly different, even two individual can get into a civil dispute. Like for example, a boundary dispute between two properties. Both are individual, they can get into a civil dispute. So there are many differences between this. But for POXO is concerned, I take only two differences here, just for our understanding. In a civil law, in a civil case, if you file against someone, any point of time, you can withdraw that case from the court. You can tell court, I don't want to proceed with this. I stop here. You would have settled the matter with your opponent outside the court or not, but you always have a liberty to withdraw your case from the court. Whereas if you go and lodge an FIR before the police under a criminal law, even you cannot withdraw it. Am I clear? You cannot withdraw that complaint from the police, because within 24 hours of registering an FIR, first information report, it will go to court. Now, without court consent, no one can withdraw that case. So this is the most important definition of a difference between a civil and criminal law, right? So criminal laws are, and second thing, in a criminal law, police have a mechanism to investigate the case independently. Suppose it's a civil case, if I file against my neighbor who encroached my property, that dispute straightly go to court, and court will investigate, court will check what is the whether it's right or wrong, or who did mischief, who did not do, etc. Court directly will see. But in a criminal case, before it goes to court, the police will do an independent investigation. That is we call police investigation. After that investigation only it goes to court. Am I clear? So in all criminal laws, in all criminal cases, the police will do an investigation at its own level and they file it before the court. And from their point of view, from that point, the court will take it further, right? So if time permits, we can explain the entire process. Otherwise, this is the fundamental difference. So POXO is a criminal law, right? Now, third, this law applies only against the sexual offenses, sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment against children. It will not address any other harassment, any torture, any cruelty, any corporal punishment for the children. This law only talks about and deals with the sexual offenses against children. We will examine what are these sexual offenses, right? Fourth, the most important thing, apart from two of the offenses which comes under rape, we'll discuss that. Rest all the prosecution means the person on behalf of child, we call it prosecution in court, should prove the sexual intent of the person who has harassed the child. Confusing? The only defense in POXO is to prove what is the sexual intent of the accused. Accused means the person allegedly committed the offense. So against the accused, the prosecution should prove the sexual intent of him or her. That is the thing. So I can give you some example. I don't know, you remember, could be a couple of years ago, Bombay High Court Nagpur bench had quashed a POXO case against a person with an observation that groping a child over her blouse will not be considered as a sexual assault because there is no skin-to-skin touch. That was the observation of judge. Groping should happen, should have a touch, physical touch between the skin. Over the cloth, it cannot be considered as a sexual assault. So, you know, every court has its own way to perceive things. Judgment is nothing but a perception. It changes from the judges to judges. So this was the judgment. So there was a lot of hue and cry. There was a lot of media attraction. Finally, Supreme Court interfered in it. Suo moto. Suo moto means Supreme Court in some cases, even high courts also, can interfere in a matter without any petition from anybody. That is called suo moto. So suo moto interfered and made it very clear after a year that even over the cloth, if someone touches a child, it attracts POXO sexual assault provisions, because what is to be seen is the sexual intent of the accused, nothing else. Am I clear? Any doubt? Yeah? Someone telling something?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay. If you say yes or no, it would be easy for me. So please keep telling me and don't hesitate asking questions. All right. So sexual intent, I will give you one more example for making it very clear. Last week, Kerala High Court has discharged a woman from a POXO offense. You know what was that? I don't know how many of you have followed it. What she did, she had unclothed her upper part of the body, and her children, a boy and a girl, were asked to draw painting over her body. Right? She had claimed that it is part of sexual education for the children. And not only she did that, she had videographed the entire episode and put it in the social media. And she said, this is one way of teaching children, giving children the sexual education, right? Kerala police has taken action against her under POCSO because both children were minors, 14 years and 8 years, and they booked under sexual assault of her. She was arrested. She was in jail. The trial court dismissed her bail. High Court dismissed her bail. She had approached Supreme Court. Supreme Court granted her bail. And last week, Kerala High Court had an occasion to look at the charges against her under POCSO. And they discharged her, saying that, yes, she admits whatever she did. But the core question for charges under POCSO is sexual intent. Where is the sexual intent in this case? A mother had done maybe a strange thing or a weird thing. But where is the sexual intent? Neither of children had given any statement before the court saying that she had sexually abused us. No. Neither of them. So, as long as you cannot show a sexual intent in an activity, POCSO will not attract. But you know, where is the risk? The proving of sexual intent is very, very difficult. In some of the cases at charge against teachers, they say that they touch or beat even with a stick or without stick with hand. Children sometimes give statement before the counselors or the POCSO authorities that they touched them. So when the moment a child says so and so teacher touched me, so first thing it's booked under POCSO. So how does this guy or this person would prove that it was not a sexual intent? Any clue? Anything to contribute? How does a person who has been charged under POCSO would prove if there is no witness or there is no other evidence? How does he or she prove that there is no sexual intent in the action? Yep. Any contribution? Any comments? All right. So it is very difficult. Okay. Now we'll come to that again. Next feature is there is no limitation for this. What is limitation? See, every law, every offense except murder and rape, there is a limitation to file FIR. You cannot sit on that and after 16 years, 18 years, 20 years, one fine morning you get up and you go to file a complaint. It will not stand. You remember hashtag #MeToo campaign? All these cases were legally not tenable because all were barred by limitation. But POCSO cases are out of limitation. Means if I had been sexually harassed by a family member at the age of 5 or 6 or 7 or any age before 18, I still can walk into a police station and file a complaint, right? Police cannot say, no, it's an old case. You are 56 years old person now. You cannot file. No, not possible. So limitation is not applicable. The practical side is aside, because the person who had sexually harassed me at the age of 6, 7, he may not even alive today, right? So what's the point in case? But in principle, there is no limitation applicable for this. Am I clear? Okay. It is a gender neutral law. It could be a boy, it could be a girl, it could be a transgender. POCSO applicable to all. It need not be a girl child to be harassed by a person. No, could be anyone, all three genders, right? In a case, a child can be a perpetrator, child can be an accused, a child can harass another child. So how do we go about it? If a child harasses another child, the child will be booked under Juvenile Justice Act, and his trial or her trial would be separate. You remember Nirbhaya case? You remember there was one accused was minor. What happened in this case? Rest all were hanged till death. This guy was scot free after 3 years, right? You remember? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, what happened is this guy was caught scot free after 3 years. Then we changed our law. Now today, under Juvenile Justice Act, if the minor had participated in the crime as equal as other person, then juvenile committee can see that he or she also can be tried as an adult. In today's thing, it is not applicable retrospective. No law amendment will apply retrospectively. So today, if Nirbhaya would happen, then this guy would have been tried as an adult, right? So we changed our law. So a child can be a perpetrator, and a child can be booked under Juvenile Justice Act. Neha, any question?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding this. So if a child is the perpetrator,
Okay.
and yeah, so they would be treated, he or she would be treated as the same. Like there would be no differences, right,
not by
in terms of-
default. It is after the
Okay.
inquiry, the Juvenile Justice
Okay.
Board feels that he was participated as like other adult accused, then he can be tried. Not by default.
Okay, but how is the fourth point applicable to this? Because if we are considering anybody under the age of 18, it could be anyone, it could be someone who is also 12 or 13 who's still beginning to understand sexuality, or even younger age. So how can we get that the fourth point cleared out?
Sexual intent, even what happened in Nirbhaya's case, can we say that he was not, he did not have a sexual intent? He was 17 plus, 16 plus. Sexual intent, as I said, it's very difficult to prove, except you have. So children, now biggest criticism against POCSO also same. I'll come to that. The problem is, it is our misunderstanding. You are better experts than me. The children will not have any sexual intent. No. The science says after maybe 12, 13 years of age, children can exhibit, or children could be curious, and they will have sexual intent. You agree?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
But
So
I was thinking more in terms of their ability to make an informed.
no, sexual intent need not be physical. Sexual intent could be a thought or a feeling or an action. So here, POXO offense need not, it's not rape. I'll come to that. I'll explain to you that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, another important aspect of POXO is you and I will be booked under POXO even without looking at a child. Forget about sexual abuse. When a child being sexually abused at my neighbor's place, or in a movie hall, or in a mall, or in a marketplace, or in a vehicle, and I keep mum, then I can be booked under section 19 of POXO of not reporting the crime. This is called mandatory reporting. So each and every person, public, can be booked under POXO if not reported an offense which they came to know or they have witnessed, right? So this is a very, very important. This shows the seriousness of this law. So for getting booked under POXO, you don't have to do anything with children. Even you keep mum, or you ignore a hue and cry of a child who had been sexually harassed around your neighborhood. So again, it was happened in Kerala. In a movie hall, a child was sexually harassed by a person. It was later, during investigation, it was found that it was arranged. So it was recorded in CCTV, and the owner was arrested next day because they see that he did not report it to police, and he was booked under section 19. There are many cases. One is this example. You can see, Google it, you can see that. And he had a separate, there was a case against the person who had sexually harassed the child. But here, separate another case against the owner of that movie hall, that in spite of recorded in the CCTV, he did not care to inform police. Therefore, he was booked under section 19 of POXO Act, not reporting the offense. Am I clear?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Sir, this is Sugandha. I have a question
Yeah, Sugandha.
regarding point number 7. A child can be a preparator, and my question is will there be any age limit for that, like 12 to 18 years old,
No.
a boy or a girl, or
No,
any age?
no, up to 18, any age of 18. There is a,
No, no.
since you asked, there is a proposal before Law Commission. It's under examination to make this law of up to 16, not 18. But as of now, child, there is no age is prescribed. All right?
So one doubt I have.
Yeah, please.
Can I ask now?
Yeah, please.
Sir, about the 7th point only, you said about the perpetrator. Just one doubt, if the perpetrator is also a special child, so the intent will also be not clear, right?
How do you say if it is a special child, the intent will not be clear? How did you reach that?
It will be more difficult, right?
Difficult,
Will it be
not impossible, no?
It will be possible to prove.
Because most of the time, yeah, I'll answer that. Most of the time, the evidence is not from the child, from the circumstances, from other witnesses, from CCTV. So the child may get a benefit of doubt, or the immunity under special rights of Disability Persons Act, but it can be proved in some cases. Like there is no difference between specially abled child and normal child. Any case can be proved, any case can be disproved also.
Okay, sir. So it will be the same. It will be the same.
It will be same, except as I said, there is some immunity, some special privilege the child may get under different law, but rest is same. Yeah, Sunaini.
Thank you.
Sir, So just coming back to the 8th point, when you were talking about non-reported.
Yeah.
Does this include or not include the awareness of the parents?
No, awareness has nothing to do with here. That is why we say, and for this section 19, even it is applicable to parents also, even any family member also. If in
No, I did not mean that, sir. I'll just repeat my question. Suppose I know someone, I know a child who's been abused, and now I'm reporting, but then I don't inform the parents of the child.
Okay.
Is that allowed, or is it important that we keep them informed that we are doing this against their child?
All right.
I mean, not against, for their child.
It's a good question. In fact, if you ask me, it's always better if you can take the parents under confidence. That's always better. Because the problem is, you go and file a complaint, and child and parents come and denies that, there could be a case against you for filing a false complaint. So that is another issue. So it's always better try to counsel the parents. Most of the time, 92% of sexual harassment happened against children from home. They know who the accused is, either relatives, uncle, auntie. Sorry. So it's always better because you're doing a charitable purpose. They always take parents into confidence. It's not possible. Then you have to inform police. Look, I tried, but they may say come and no, but you do investigate. It's always better. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, 9th, this is one law, a death penalty can be awarded. There is one section under this law, I will tell you that, and under which death penalty can be given. 3 cases already in India under for POCSO, death penalty had been given, right? Now, this is a very important point. Every criminal case in our criminal law, until the person proved guilty, he should be presumed that innocent. You understand? Suppose I had been arrested a dacoity case. So my duty, my role in court is to just deny the of a charge against me. No, I did not enter into someone's house and try to dacoit. Right? It is prosecution's duty is to prove that Muhammed Raffeque was inside at home. There was a CCTV, there are witnesses, he left his watch over there, etc., etc. So until such time, I should be presumed that innocent until it is proved. Am I right? Now, in POCSO case, it just reverse. POCSO case, the court will presume that you are guilty until you proved yourself innocent. Let it digest, then I will explain. Let me repeat, in a POCSO case, there is a presumption guilty until proved innocent. In normal case, it is innocent until proved guilty, just opposite, right? Any doubt? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
No, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So the courts would keep it in mind that this guy or this woman, this person is guilty until he proves he's innocent or her innocence, right? But there is a catch here. Provided the preliminary thing, the sexual intent, or all preliminary thing has to be proved by prosecution, because you cannot arrest me under POCSO and say that now you prove. Child says you had harassed the child. Now you prove. That's not possible. the basic thing, the sexual intent has to be proved by prosecution. Then the rest of part of it, I have to prove myself that I am innocent. This is in theory, it's more thing. Practical, it's very difficult for court to hold that kind of presumption, but it happens. There are many judgments came on this. This is thing, but as a feature, it is very important, right? Watching porn in India is not an offense, provided it is in a closed room. Showing or displaying pornography is an offense, still can be booked under IPC. But child pornography, where a child is part of any porn or any indecent, obscene advertisement, series, movies, is an offense under POCSO. Any form, even its storing, sharing, making, compelling children to act, these all are offense under POCSO law. So pornography as such, it's not an offense. That is which it's available in our net. But child pornography, even if it's available, even if someone tried to watch or share or store, it's an offense under POCSO. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So any organization, schools, or the child care homes, orphanages, malls, hospitals, everywhere, wherever children are part of their business, wherever they deal with children, have certain compliances under POCSO law and POCSO rules. They should have a policy, they should have some decorum. I'll explain that a little more later. So now that is the features. Now there are many offenses under POCSO, but you will get confused if you read the name. So for the convenience purpose, I categorized into 4. First is penetrative. Nothing but rape. Penetration should happen, then it is rape. So first 2 offenses, section 3 and section 5, penetrative sexual assault, aggravated penetrative sexual assault, are come under the category of rape, right? Only difference is here a boy also can be raped. A transgender child also can be raped, not only a girl child. So this is the first offense, penetrative sexual assault. This is the aggravated form of this. How become it is aggravated? If the person who did the assault is a trusted person of the child, could be parents, could be relatives, could be school authorities, teachers, could be police, anyone. It's a huge section. I don't want you to get confused. In effect, if the person is not a stranger, the child knows the person and he has some authority, then it comes under aggravated penetrative assault. Action is same in both. So as I said, the death punishment can be given under section 5. Death, minimum life imprisonment, 20 years imprisonment. This is the most heinous crime, most serious offense under the entire law. Aggravated penetrative sexual assault. So penetration, it needs penetration. Clear? Apurva, you have a question?
No, sir, it's clear so far.
Okay, thank you. Now comes next category is no penetration, but there is a touch. So we call it sexual assault. See, there is no penetration here, only sexual assault. Deals with section 7 and section 9. So here there is no penetration. The case I referred earlier, Bombay High Court, the Nagpur bench was under this. Groping a child over the blouse is not a sexual assault, according to that judge. It was reversed by Supreme Court. So here there is no touch. Sorry, here there is a touch, but no penetration. So these are the second category of the offense. Third category, no touch, no penetration, but words, gestures of a person which abuses the child virtually or physically, then it is a sexual harassment as per section 11. Fourth category is child pornography. I said using child for porn or any obscene advertisement or things, and storing, uploading, sharing of any child porn bits or movies or any video or even an image is an offense under this. So if you ask me, the entire offenses dealing children, there are offenses about others that I'll come to that. Dealing children comes under this one slide. One is penetration, two offenses. Second is no penetration, but only touch. Third is no touch, no penetration, but words and gestures, actions. Fourth is child porn. Am I clear on this?
Sure, sure.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
so what about instances where there is threat involved?
Sorry, where? Trust.
Instances where threat is involved.
What is involved?
Threat.
Threat.
Some kind of yeah. But when you are,
This threat can, the threat can involve in all these four. The penetration, the rape can be under threat. I will shoot you, or a revolver point, or a knife point. This also, this all can come under threat, because
okay, so
yeah.
There is, as in, there is. I'm talking in terms of not for sexual gain, but just to control the child. So there could be instances where threats are involved, where in terms of gestures or words, they would say, "I will do this, I will do that, if you don't do this."
Okay, so that's what I explained.
The intent is not really that, but it's more
correct.
to control the child.
This law will only apply if there is a you prove the sexual intent. So except in this case, because penetrative, you don't need to prove anything else, because if there is a penetration, it is with sexual intent only. There is no other reason. Rest all these three, you need to prove the sexual intent. So if a child, in a case of a corporal punishment in school, then a teacher beats a child, slaps a child, and then if child says that teacher touched me in my shoulder or my bust, then the sexual intent has to be proved. So that is what. So just only threat. If there is a threat, I will kill you or I will beat you unless you agree with me to touch you. That is a POXO offense. I will beat you if you don't allow me to touch your private parts. If that is a statement, that comes under section 11. But if I say,
so the opposite, the opposite.
Yeah, I'm coming. If I say, I will beat you if you don't study, if you don't do this homework today, that will not come under POXO. Clear?
But if the person were to say, I will ask you to remove your clothes, or I will touch you if you don't
it's a POXO.
do certain.
It's a POXO case. If it is touching,
it will be considered.
It
will be considered, right?
Correct. It will be considered. It's a POXO case. It will come under this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So any other doubt on this? This is the most important part. In fact, I have taken around 10-11 pages of POXO Act in one slide. Right? This aggravated. Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are.
Yes. Watching the child pornography is also, because in your slide, I cannot see that watching or viewing. That is also equally offensive, or how would you differentiate that?
It is offense. I'll give you an example. Recently had happened. It was reported in the newspaper. A guy who had gone to police station with respect to his friend's case. So though something happened, police had happened to see his phone, and then they saw that a lot of videos saved, which is having sexual child pornography. The child this guy was detained under POXO Act that time itself. So watching child pornography, the porn watching, if you think that nobody will come to know, it is wrong, because every thread, every link you watch, you use, it's being recorded in your service provider's place. Whenever the authorities wanted to see, they can see it. So watching porn as not an offense, as I said earlier, but child porn, watching, sharing, storing, everything are offense under POXO Act. It's very clear.
Yeah, clear, sir.
Thank you. So these are the offenses. Now there are 2-3 offenses we did not say in this. That was one, public, as I said, non-reporting of an offense, and media can be this thing. These 4 are the directly deals with, directly affects the children, right? So don't take that these are the only 4 offenses. There are many offenses. If time permits, we can say that. Now you look at it. I said the offense. Now what is the punishment? As you know, it's a criminal case. The person will be sent to jail. In a civil case, this is another difference. In a civil case, the person will not be sent to jail. But in a criminal case, if the crime is proved beyond doubt, then the person will go to jail. So penetrative sexual assault, it is 20 years of, penetrative sexual assault, it's 20 years or life imprisonment. So life imprisonment here, it means till till remaining the life, the person will be in jail. Now, aggravative, we said the difference between these two are this is being done by a person whom child has trust, or he or she is supposed to take care of the child. So then that is, even death punishment can be given, if not less than 20 years. Now touch, no penetration, then up to 5 years. Sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault. This touch is done by a person whom the child having trust, then 7 years. Then no penetration, no touch, it is 3 years with fine. Then pornography, up to 5 years. And any attempt or inducing someone to do this offense, up to 5 years. Not reporting a case, it is up to 6 months. Media, if they disclose the name and details of the identity of child, they can be sent to jail for 6 months or with fine. Any doubt on this?
Sir, I had a doubt.
Yeah.
So what if any of these categories, the person who is committing the crime, like any penetrative or aggravated, what if he's psychologically affected?
See, under IPC, under CRPC, there is a provision. If it is the person psychological, person of unsound mind, not psychology, unsound mind, and he did not do, he did not know what he has done. If that can be proved in court, and if the court convinces through medical reports and witnesses, court may take a lenient view about this person. But please mind it, it's not a matter of right, it is a defense, only a defense. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sunaini.
So just an extension of the previous question that was asked, if the perpetrator is psychologically unwell in terms of if there's a personality disorder, where some of the symptoms are where the individual is sexually explicit, and so they are aware of what they're doing, but they're also diagnosed with a personality disorder or any other disorder. So how do we deal with that situation?
The question will be at the time of doing it, what was his mental status? Not after that or before that. At the time of doing, whether he knew what he is doing, and if it can be proved, it's very difficult to prove. It can be proved before the court that he did not know what he has done that point of time, then he may get a leniency. But remember, under POXO, that leniency is very, very rare because it's a welfare law. We discussed as a first point, it's a special law. Most of the time, the courts ignore unless very strong concrete defense they have taken, including showing the authority and examining the experts more than one. But it's very difficult, but it is possible. That defense you can take. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So these are the punishment part. Just for your knowledge, these are the offenses, these are the punishment.
Sir, I raised hand.
Yeah, Manoj.
Yeah.
Doctor.
You have used one clause, not right but defect. Can you please repeat it again and just try to explain it? Especially when you answered that question of some of the audience there, when the individual of unsound mind commits such crime, then yes, in that regard, sir.
Okay. So it is not only for POXO, any law, suppose a murder happens or any crime happens, suppose a trespass happens. So in that case, if you prove before the court that at the time of doing this crime, this person was not of his sound mind. And how to prove it? You need to produce a witness and medical certificate showing that at that point of time, this guy was not in his thing. It's not because of any drug addiction or under the control of alcohol. These two will not be considered as unsound mind. Physically or mentally, he was incapacitated to understand what he did. Then the court may take a lenient view. See, I use the word may. Court may take a lenient view. Instead of sending a person to life imprisonment for a murder, in this case, it may be reduced to 10 years or 7 years. That's it.
Clear, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So sexual intent we had discussed. It is the intent we discussed about touch and word gestures. So Supreme Court made it very clear in 2021. What is important to see whether action is with sexual intent or not. So see, except penetrative sexual assault or aggravative penetrative sexual assault, all other thing, sexual intent has to be proved. Penetration, it is not to be proved because it's already a penetration. It means that there is a sexual intent, right? So there are three things, three judgments came in various court. Calling a minor girl as an item is an offense under POXO. It comes under sexual harassment, section 11. So it's a Bombay High Court judgment. Calling a minor girl as an item, it is an offense under POXO. Right? Second, holding hands in public place does not amount to sexual intent, does not act of sexual assault. Holding hand in public may not be a sexual assault because what is missing here is the sexual intent. Third one, touching bum of a minor girl is an offense under POXO Act. The defense was, I was just touched just like that, but it is a POXO. These are three things. Don't take it very seriously because this can change more things can come. These are three latest judgments, observations of court I've taken, shown you as a evidence for sexual intent, right? So now there is a very important question in POXO. Suppose there is no witness, no CCTV, nothing. Only the child says this uncle or auntie had or teacher had sexually harassed me, or will not say that, touched me here, 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 and which is to be private part. So the challenge is how far valid is a child's statement. So there are many judgments happened on this. This is very important. You can read this. The decision on the question whether the child witness has sufficient intelligence primarily rests with the trial judge. So if a judge understands the child in front of you is intelligent enough, understand enough what had happened with him or her, and they think, the judge, the court think that they can believe this child, then only relying upon that child statement, an accused can be punished. There are cases happened in only on child statement. But if the court has some kind of apprehension, or the child contradicts her or his statement in different way, then court will look at in a suspicious way. Otherwise, if the court feels that child is intelligent enough, then the court can rely only on child's evidence. So the risk here is the sexual intent. A child may not be able to express the sexual intent of the accused. Child would explain what had happened with him or her. So it is up to the court to see whatever happened comes under sexual intent or not. So this was Supreme Court judgment in 2004. Supreme Court, I have given citation below. You want, you can take a snap of it. All right. Now, when I said this has happened 2 weeks back in Bangalore. I'm sure most of you. Have you anyone followed this story? Hello.
No, sir.
Yes.
You all are there?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
all are
sir.
there? I hope
Yes.
you didn't get bored and left.
Hello, sir.
Ah.
Yes, sir. I followed this.
Yeah. So what
Actually,
happened
yes.
in this case is a child, the parents left the flat and when came back, they saw the
Yes.
child on the terrace of the house.
Terrace. Correct.
So she was asked, how did you reach here? So she said a delivery boy came and he took me to this place. So they immediately closed the gates of society. It was a gated society, and watched the CCTV and find out one person, a few people, delivery boys who were inside that point of time, and the child shown the one person. And we can imagine he was thrashed and then they called police, and the police investigated and found that the child had gone alone on the terrace. There was no delivery boy accompanied him. So child later confessed or said, told before the police that I was afraid of my dad will beat me if I went alone. So I took the name of delivery boy. So when I say this, so you need to add this also. So most of the time, because even children now, this is a 8 years child. So even children now know there are laws, something may not be 8 years, and we have some kind of protection, right? So how did, I don't know, you people know better than me, the children, how did an 8-year-old child lie about a third person for saving her from the punishment from the parents. So I don't know how to explain that. So this is also happens, right? Anita, you want to add something?
Yes, sir. Like, I felt that, child was pretty much, scared to share with the parents that, she wanted to play there. That is the thing, so much of the boundaries has been set for the child that when we are not there, you are alone, close the door. So much of, kind of boundaries is been given. The child doesn't wants to explore, but still, she had a inhibition that why don't I lie and explore? If the parents were friendly, kind enough, probably should have told, can I play? Could be that, otherwise all this wouldn't have happened. There was a series of things, lot of mishaps happened there. Like, otherwise it all would have been avoided.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. In fact, in our session, yeah, tell me.
In this case, I have one question. In the previous discussion, you have told that if a child, report to any of the authority that the person had the intent, basically, but here the CCTV camera has done a great job. But in most of the cases, there would be no evidence that disprove that the child is saying wrong. What could be the situation in that case, and how can we go ahead for that?
Unfortunately,
that was one question. And another thing, because being a clinical psychologist, what I see, the child, yes, we say that the child may lie, child may thief, child may, because there are different categories of psychological disorders develops in the child, especially if you call about the conduct disorder, then the child may have these kind of tendencies to save himself and to say and to manipulate the others. But what I found, it is the symptoms in the child, that the illness is in the family and the symptoms in the child, specifically if it's not neurologically originated. So that what question, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. In fact, Dr. Manoj, thank you for sharing that. In fact, there is no way what court feels. Suppose in this case, the police had investigated a little deeper. Otherwise, this guy would have been arrested under POCSO. And at the time of trial, even I don't know how far he will get an opportunity to explain the things. So as you said, CCTV has saved this guy. So the point is, if these are all not there, we never know. Even the innocents would have been punished because we don't know. The courts will go as per the whatever available evidence. That's all. So you can't do anything in this thing. See, in fact, in our POCSO sessions, we have a session on how to communicate with children. So we used to say, believe the children, what they say. So now these sort of things happens. We say, believe the children with a pinch of salt, because sometimes they may not telling the truth. So you need to check that and understand, because here they believe the child and they thrashed this boy out. So that is very important. We need to balance it, right?
Yes, sir. I think that is the most critical aspects of this POCSO Act.
Correct.
Because when I talked about that child with the conduct disorder having the tendency to manipulate, may, if know about this POCSO Act, and may utilize it against the family members also, even in a case that no such event has happened. So that is one of the drawback here. Okay.
Absolutely.
Anyway, sir, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stalking is a sexual harassment under POCSO, except children. So stalking, why I'm saying here, it could be either electronic. Means stalking a child through social media is an offense, and it can punish up to 5 years punishment. So it's always one should be away from stalking children directly or through electronic media, right? So this we have discussed of Section 19 of Act, where the public has a responsibility, and there are some rules, POXO rules. I don't know how far it is applicable to you. That one is earlier under Termination of Pregnancy Act, where even a minor's pregnancy can be terminated, provided the parents give the consent, right? That was the earlier position before 2012. Now, if the child, if it's a child, and even the parents had brought for termination of a pregnancy, the gynecologist should inform police before doing. It's very clear. The last month, May 2023, Karnataka High Court made it very clear. The petitioner claims to be a gynecologist having 35 years of practice. It is highly improbable that petitioner, at the very look of the patient, did not get to know that victim was a tender age of 12 years and 11 months and had been subjected to sexual intercourse, and she had become pregnant. So courts take very stringent action against the gynecologist who did who had who are ready for termination of pregnancy of children. Even Kerala, I know a case went up to Supreme Court to do that. So that is one point. And suppose a child is found to be under intoxication, then even that hospital or the medical officer, even if a private hospital, they should inform to take action. Even they can inform DCPU or CWC in the city to for de-addiction of the child. Now, the biggest criticism against the POXO Act is if the girl runs away voluntarily without any persuasion, can boy with whom she allowed be booked under POXO Act? What happens practically? Suppose a girl of 18 years had ran away with her boyfriend, and girl's parents go to police station. They first ask, what is the age of the girl? They say that it's 18 years. The police will not look here and there. They will straight away book the person, the boy, under POXO Act. She must have gone with her own volition. But still, so how do we address a consensual relationship, especially after 16 till 18, these 2 years? This is the time the children have kind of consensual relationship, the affairs and all. So can we book all these cases under POXO? The problem is if the boy is booked under POXO, then what happens is entire future it will affect. So this issue seriously considered by many high courts, even Supreme Court. Now it's pending before the Law Commission. Law Commission asked central government's statement. Earlier, central government was very affirmative that we will not change. There was a statement from Ms. Irani, the minister. She said, no, there is no question of reducing the age of POXO from 18 to 16, but now it's still under consideration. So this is one of the criticisms against POXO Act. Now there is a POXO Act, there is a POXO rule that asks.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this is Apurva.
Yeah, Apurva.
So maybe in another 5 minutes, we can wind up the slides because there are some questions as well.
Yeah,
I would like to address them.
Yeah,
thank
give
you,
me,
thank you.
I'll take another 3 minutes. Thank you, Apurva.
Thank you, sir.
So every employee should be undergo a police verification, character antecedent verification, especially in school, teachers and thing. And every school should do a periodic training, and there should be a policy called child protection policy. And for you, I recommend, strongly recommend a document to read. It is issued by Ministry of Women and Child Development, Model Guidelines under Section 39 of POXO Act. It's a guideline for use of professional and expert under POXO Act. Please read that. This it's not a big document, but it covers your all activities where you have to do it. There is an exemption under this law, section 41, section 3 to 13, including all that offenses are not applicable in case of medical examination or medical treatment of a child, when such medical examination or treatment is undertaken with the consent of his parents. So this is a immunity, though courts are not very encouraging this. In Madras High Court, a psychologist was punished, and in some other quota, but there is an exception under this. So whenever you do your activities, your psychology, wherever possible, please do it in presence of parents, either parent or someone whom child knows. Avoid doing any, especially a physical activity, child alone. It could be considered as something, and tomorrow you will not be able to prove it, right? So that's what, as I said, we do a 12-hour session called POXO Torchbearer, and next is 7th to July, and I think one of you have already registered for that. If anyone is interested, of course, it's a paid session. Anyone interested, you can approach, and we'll give you more details. So thank you for patient hearing and the questions. I'm done. Apurva, you can take it forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for those nuances about the POXO Act. I now hand over the stage to Ms. Ashu Sharma for the question and answer section.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, sure.
There are some relevant questions, sir.
Please, sure.
Thank you, sir. There is a question. Can you let us know if any legal action can be taken against a father or a husband who denies to take the responsibility of a disabled child and choose to put away from family responsibilities?
All right. So that doesn't come under POXO, because as we discussed, POXO is only deals with the sexual offenses of children. There is a law called Right of Person with Physical Disabilities Act 2016. Under that, there is a provision: if someone ignores or neglects their responsibility, they can go and file a police complaint or approach executive magistrate. They will take care of it.
Okay, sir. Then, sir, the next question is, are these inclusive institutions who says that the education institutions claim about protective environment to a girl child? So is there any act or laws?
Yeah, inclusive education, in fact, derives from the same act I said, Right of Persons of Physical Disabilities, 2016. I think it's section 17 talks about inclusive education. If some school lags behind what they are supposed to do under this law, can be booked under this law. And executive magistrate or police can, even there's a grievance officer in every district, or even DCPU you can approach, they will take action. Inclusive education is the concept under this law. It is not anyone made it, so it's a legal principle.
Okay, sir. Thank you. One more question, it is there, sir.
Yeah.
How to establish the validity of CSA when the child is not in the capacity to report?
Very difficult question. In fact, CSA only what we discuss, it comes under POXO. Circumstantial evidence, basically. Most of the time, it's not only relying on the child evidence. If child is not able to speak, you can use special assistant, special educators, or who can communicate what the child says. Their statement can be recorded by the police and court, and other circumstantial evidence. That's the only way. It's difficult.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. One question they want to ask. How can they teach this sexual awareness or sexual safety to a special child? Is there any process?
Same way like how they teach the other things to the that special child.
Yes.
Whatever the ways they take, they can add, it's one more subject, that's all. So basically you need to tell what is touch, and if someone touches these part of the body, That is not a good touch. And only to make understand that. So whatever the method they use for other teaching methods, they can include this also. That's the only way.
Okay, sir.
Or the images, or they can show some videos and images.
Okay, sir. So one more question. You told already that you should take someone or the parent inside with you while therapy. But if the therapist needs one-on-one session and we cannot include, or if the therapist is working alone, so is it possible or is it applicable that we can work alone?
There's a
Or
risk attached to it. If the therapist can take that risk, I have no problem. But if it is below 18, I always suggest because it could. I'll give you an example, a case, best example. In Chennai, a mother has filed a complaint against her counselor.
Yes, sir.
About POXO. She said, my child had some problem. She was not good in studies. I took her to this psychiatrist, and he did it under the closed door. I was outside, and he had sexually abused my daughter. Right?
Oh,
He was
yes.
arrested, and it was finally he went to High Court to quash the charges. There, the child came and said that these all lie because the psychiatrist asked for his fee from mother. He was not paid, and
Okay.
he sent a mail also. He said, "I will take legal action if you don't pay." As a vengeance, she did this.
Okay.
So court asked to do a criminal proceedings against her, a false complaint. So this also happens. So the problem is, finally will come out if you have not done anything. But whatever the trauma you undergo, you are booked, you are arrested, media exposed, you are in jail, bail denied, this all things. So that's what I said. There is a risk attached to it. If you want to do it.
Okay.
Sir, am I allowed to
Yeah,
have?
please.
Yes. Sorry for that interruption in between. Because, sir, actually, this is hindering somewhere the clinical practice of psychotherapy and counseling with the children. Many cases, the child, not sexually, but physically, verbally, emotionally abused in the family and may not disclose in front of the parents or in front of the caregivers. And in that, we see many such cases, they disclose even not to the therapist, but they disclose through the different kind of paintings and artwork and which we involve in them. Then we guess that, yes, there has been some kind of such, incidents in the child rearing. Then we further explore, and that we do in not in presence of the caregiver. So that is a big flaw here. If we have to do some, criticism, what can we do in this regard so that there should be some kind of modification in this section?
So one thing I suggest is CCTV in
Okay,
the
okay, yes,
consultation
yes,
room.
yes.
CCTV.
Mm-hmm.
Second, wherever possible, make it virtual, one-on-one in Zoom or any platform, virtual, not physical. Because Manoj, while I appreciate your concern, from the legal, there are cases against psychiatrists and psychologists and doctors whom nobody knows. So the trauma they attach to it, even there are committed suicide cases where they could not withstand the trauma. So my only concern is that while I appreciate that, so have a CCTV in your consultation room and your waiting room, and wherever possible, do it virtually.
Okay, all right, all right. Thank you so much.
Yep. Any more question?
That's all, sir. Everybody
Sorry?
Sir, people have asked also about educating in sexual harassment and the special rights reserved for special abled children.
Okay.
So
In fact, the POXO, what our subject topic is today, is not differentiating specially able children, normal children. The definition covers both. The Act, the Right of Person with Disabilities Act 2016 is unfortunately, that's not our topic today.
Yes,
We
sir.
spoke about sexual offenses against children, irrespective of which category they are in. So there is no such category of thing in the POXO Act and other thing. And unfortunately, there is no much evidence about or much documents about especially the sexual CSA cases about against physically challenged children.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Anyways, the session was self-explanatory.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If you have
Much
doubts, you
informative
can.
also to Kritika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, all. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. I would firstly like to thank our esteemed speaker, Mr. Muhammed Raffeque. The topic of POSCO is very rarely addressed, especially for children with special needs and for people, for us, especially in clinical practice. You made this presentation so informative and kept it so interactive for all of us. It was great to see an active participation by all the members present here. Thank you all for your active interaction. Lastly, I would like to thank the team of Brainchild Trust for Dr. Gauri for organizing this event, Ms. Apurva for hosting the event, Ms. Ashu Sharma for hosting the Q&A session, and Mr. Naveen for helping us with the IT and backend work, and the rest of the team who also helped us. Thank you all. I also wanted to mention to all the participants here that the interactive session here, the entire session is recorded and will be available on YouTube to revisit again. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Kritika. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, making this more interactive. Apurva, you have my details. If at all anyone has any question or sometimes you can share with me. Right?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and for all the information.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Good night. Have a nice evening.